Well, hello, everybody. I am so excited that we are doing a live finally. It has been so long. I don't think I've done a live since January. So, if you're here, tell me where. Well, if you're here, obviously. So, tell me where you're from, what you're drinking. I am on Vancouver Island and I am drinking a Murchie's Rocky Mountain tea. It is so good. The lovely Kelsey, who usually is here, had recommended it, and I have just fallen in love with Murchie's. I mean, I like David's tea, but I love Murchie's now so much. Okay, Linda, she was like, oh my gosh, you guys were showing up early and you were counting down. Hooray! Kate is here. Linda is here. Elisa from Alabama. She already drank her coffee. Jean, I got your email and I did not write you back, but thank you so much for that. And all the other people who were so wonderful. Margaret, Kim, Amelie. You need a link for what? Was I going to do a link for something? Oh, to the tea. Oh, yes. I wonder if they send to the States. They probably do. Yorktown, Virginia. Hello, the wood burning warrior. Megan, drinking water now. Oh my gosh, so many people. Sheila, Jennifer. Oh, I just love seeing where people are from. Idaho. I've been to Idaho. I've been to Coeur d'Alene. Susan, hello. Let me just get the Murchies link here. I am on a different tab, so I don't even know if I'm still showing up. Let me know if I'm still showing up so I know in the future. Okay, I'm going to copy it. And then you go ahead and you look and let me know if you can buy in the US from there. Drinking chai. I love it. I love chai. My son's girlfriend is from India and she said she was going to make me chai tea, which she said that's what she would make for her family. She would make chai tea, which I think is so cool. I feel like, as a Canadian, I'm like, I don't even know what generation Canadian I am. In fact, one of my relatives landed in Ellis Island years and years and years ago. So we're like part American a while ago. And a long time ago. So I'm just like so North American. I feel like I have like no culture other than Canadian. Timmy's iced coffee. There you go. There's part of our culture. It's funny actually. I was chatting to my friend about how my husband's family is Scottish, and I said, once a year, my mother-in-law celebrates Robbie Burns Day, and my husband talks about how much he doesn't like haggis, and that's like the extent of that. All right, everybody. Annalie from Sweden. How is your house doing? Oh my gosh, so lovely. Christy, you gotta go back to work. Oh, I'm sorry. Jenny drinking hot water. I love it. Oh my gosh. If you spend over 50, that's great because that's what they charge here as well. So I recommend. So I'll tell you quickly before I jump into things. My favorite teas are Rocky Mountain, and then there's one called Storm Chaser or something. So I order that one, Rocky Mountain Storm Watcher, and then I love Paris Afternoon. Yes, those are the ones I recommend. However, I don't know what you'd like. There's also one called like Canada 150 or something, and it has like a hint of maple. Yeah, St. Louis. It's Renee, South Carolina. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just love seeing where people are from. Christy's a nurse. Yes, just like me. Okay, so I am going to, you know what I did? I asked if anybody had any questions. And last I checked yesterday, like one person had submitted a question, and that's fine if people don't. Okay, so it was just on YouTube somebody had. But first, what I will do is tell you a little bit about what's been going on. So, in our membership, the Untangled program, we did a 30-day challenge, and a lot of people they started out and they absolutely loved they loved sort of working through it. Now, some people, they worked through it backwards, which I think is really fun. And I think that's actually a great way of doing it. So, the 30-day challenge, if you don't know, is when you declutter one thing on day one thing on day or two things on day two, three things on day three, and so on and so forth. And over that time, I believe you declutter something like, okay, we'll get to paper, something like 485 or 465 or something like that. And I'll do the update in a minute, but like right after this part where I just chat about the 30-day challenge. But what some people did, because at the end of it, you're doing 30 things a day. And when I did it in 2020. I was like, oh gosh, like on day 30, it was much harder. And I love the idea of a lot of people in our group, they started with 30 things on day one and then they went to 29. And I really liked that. So I thought I think that's what I would do in the future. And but it was really great to see people doing it. And a few people lost steam, but so much got decluttered. Other people are still doing it. Yeah, I think it's so great. So Lindy loves the 30-day. Hooray. Okay, so channel update right now. I it's still affecting my channel. And I chatted with a guy and he has had huge views and he has almost 1 million subscribers and he was hit by the invalid traffic sort of thing as well. Now, I for a long time said I thought it was a glitch, but a lot of people we're starting to feel like we're being targeted and we're not really sure what, like, I kind of think it's just sort of like random. This fellow, he thinks it's a little more targeted, but I'm like, not really sure who would want to target me, but that's okay. He thinks for him it's a competitor. And I mean, I don't like, I think my niche is just full of nice people. And I honestly can't even imagine who would even bother. Like my channel isn't huge. So, but it does look like invalid traffic had still sort of shown up. So what I went through is I privated a bunch of videos and I've actually re-uploaded a few. So if you see a video and you're like, this looks familiar, it might be. I'd love it if you could still watch it and comment. That would be so helpful. And then if you watch another one, if you're ever wondering like how to help somebody out, the best thing you can do is just watch the next video or share it. And then comment. It's not great, apparently, to leave things running all day. And it's so funny because they were like, YouTube, whenever I talk to them, they say, oh, well, tell your people not to like leave things running and make sure that like I specifically aren't like logging on and like clicking on my own videos. But I think YouTube is aware that it is somebody targeting people. And I don't know why. Like I think like the thing is they don't want the actual bad actors to know what YouTube is doing to fix it. So they're being very cagey with everybody. And I understand that. It's just very frustrating. Oh, I'm glad you like the recycled videos. Actually, it's funny because for me, I will like I listen to a lot of podcasts and ebooks and like one of my favorite ebooks is or books is You Are a Badass. And I love You Are a Badass at Money. The money one is funny. Like even if you're like not like if the money, it's like whatever, right? But the actual message in it is so good. So I will re-listen to things like that. So it's the same with like YouTube videos. Sometimes it's like you just need to you can hear things a few times and you get different things from it. So that's good. There are so many hackers and scammers out there. And that's the thing. It's very strange. And unfortunately, in like this world right now, like there's always been people who are kind of like a little messed up, right? But I think that unfortunately, maybe I'm gonna put the chat overlay on. There we go. Just for when people watch it later. But I think that it's just like there's a lot of unhappy people in the world right now. And when sometimes people just lash out, like even if you just look at comments sometimes people make on YouTube videos, you think like you must be an unhappy person. So I don't know. But for me right now, I'm actually not looking at my analytics at all. I look at comments, but I'm actually staying off of the YouTube uh behind the scenes program. It's called YouTube Studio. I'm not looking at that right now because it is just like really stressful for me. And I am looking at comments, but I've decided not to look at the back of YouTube Studio until April and just hoping things turn around. I've actually like been really you guys might laugh, but I went so I don't I have like I have at times like I've never thought about leaving YouTube, but that one day when I made that video, I just was so frustrated that I thought, "Do I need to leave YouTube?" And then I was chatting with so there's a lady, Nourishing Minimalism, the YouTube channel. And if you guys can put a couple comments in there, I just want to see if they show up here. But oh, there you go. Oh, thank you. But if you what was I saying? Oh, yes. Rachel from Nourishing Minimalism. She is leaving YouTube right now. And I've actually, her and I chatted about like on Monday about the whole thing. And I had said, like, I don't want to leave YouTube. Like, I love YouTube and I love making videos. But I was like, should I? And so I was like, God, should I leave YouTube? And I said, if I should stay, show me an eagle. Now I live on Vancouver Island. There are eagles, not like a ton, but there are enough. Like you'll see them from time to time. And I and so like sometimes it takes a couple days to get a sign. And like that's the greatest thing is like you can do that and it's so reassuring. So the coolest thing was then I went and I was like driving my son to the orthodontist. And as I'm driving, I'm just thinking about that. Oh, maybe I'll see an eagle, maybe I won't. Like, maybe I actually should quit YouTube, even though, like, I really like it. Like, I enjoy everything about it. And I thought, but maybe I'll see an eagle, maybe I won't. And I thought sometimes we see things in pictures. Maybe I'll like look through a magazine or something. And I walk through the orthodontist door, and this is what I see. There's a painting. Sorry, there's such a flash there, but it was an eagle, like artwork there. Isn't that the absolute coolest thing ever? So I was like, okay, so I'm supposed to, yes, I asked for a sign. So I'm supposed to stay with YouTube. And I 100% feel that. And I was like, I love it so much. But I did say, I was like, now God, just so you know, I was like, I can't keep doing something and just watching it fail. Like who in their right mind could do that, right? So anyway, yeah. So there you go. I should fix my name to Sylvia Sam Curtis. Oh, there you go. Okay. So the update is that there will be some recycled videos. There will definitely be new videos. There are podcast interviews coming out. I'm not like doing Lindsay. I love Lindsay. I'll give you a quick update on her too in a minute. But I uh am not like I'm basically doing podcast interviews just with people like whoever. So I have one with Erica Lucas coming up next week. She's lovely. I interviewed Dawn, the minimal mom. I interviewed um Dana K. White. I had to reschedule with Cass Clutterbug because she was sick. So there's Lindsay right there. And I'm going to share that Lindsay is probably moving. And so she is currently decluttering. And we were chatting about how, because she might be going like extremely minimalist because the place she might be buying is no closet space. And Lindsay, you got to check out the Simple Living Alaska. I just watched one of their videos and they were talking about like how like little space they have. It's so good. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. So the podcast, yeah, there's just going to be like maybe like bi-weekly or something like that. Yeah, you are decluttering like a boss. Um and yes, not failing. I know, but it's like hard like you just don't want to see something going like this forever. Like I'm fine if it continues going up and I love like the comments from everybody, but I just would like to see it just at least pick up a little bit. Just a little bit, but it's just like continuing to like go like this. So I'm just like, and that's why I thought I'm just gonna give it like over a month of not looking at the back end. And in fact, there's a couple of sponsors who have reached out and then they asked to see certain things. So I'm like basically like screenshotting while trying not to see anything. Like I literally am like squinting my eyes so I don't see certain things. It's so funny. Yes, I hope it gets fixed soon. I know YouTube is aware of it. I know they are. I have actually, I'm kinda connected in a few ways, not in a way that can get it fixed, but just in a way where people can be like, "Yeah, no, they know." Okay, so as far as the channel update goes, they're still going to be, like, more than likely be weekly videos, and probably, like, bi-weekly podcasts as well, and I would really like to do a bit more live streams. I didn't really get anybody asking comments, on anything. So that would be helpful in the future, but that's okay. And I do, but they've got some questions now. So here's one. I have 3,000 extended family photos, some more than 100 years old. I've cut it down to 300. Hooray! What's the best way to organize them? So I am not like an expert on organizing this type of thing, but they're not digital. I think that there's nothing wrong. Okay, you got a couple of options here. Of course, there's the old-fashioned, like, photo album thing. Now, in my family, we never had photo albums. My mom had all of our photos in a box, and honestly, like, I remember seeing photo albums at people's houses, and I was like, "Oh, these are nice." But we liked to just get the box out and look at photos, which is always really fun. And another thing you can do, which could be very fun, is to scan them and then get them made into like a professional book, which is a interesting idea to do. That could be a great gift. I love old photos. And before we go on, I meant to do this earlier. See that little ball there by the window? That is a few of my dad's ashes. And I just want to honor him. Today is his birthday. He departed a few years ago, but it's a special day for me. So I just wanted to honor my dad. Um, and yes, some people, they love scrapbooking. So here's the thing. You put it very well there. I have tons of photos waiting to go into scrapbook albums. So this is how I like to look at things now. My nose is itchy. As a person who likes to do a lot of things and likes, like after this call, I have a meeting with the bank, and then after that, I'm going to seed a bunch of peppers, and I will chat about that in a bit. But I, aw, I lost my train of thought for a second. I like to do a lot of things, and so I love that. If you're going to do the scrapbooking, and I'm not going to tell you like don't do it, but I like the idea of looking at things as a project. So we're putting um a fence in our front yard and for our garden. Well, maybe I'll do it. Let me see. Let's come. Can I? No. I thought my cord on this might be long enough that I could like show you out my front window. But anyway, but I thought, like so often we think like, oh, like I got to do this and time gets away from us and gets away from us and gets away from us. And the interesting thing is that we often like it just doesn't happen. And I can use the gardening as an analogy because and I'll just put this back up here again is that so often I would have what is going on here? I would have like seeds that I want to get sowed and I would be like, "Oh, I didn't do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I didn't do it today. I was going to do it tomorrow." And the thing about that is you can actually wait too long for something like that. You run out of time because then it's just they're not going to reach harvest before winter comes or whatever. And but instead, what I'm doing this year is I'm like, no, I am going to like for sure take like 5 days where I am like only working on that. And I'm planning out the fence, I'm planning out the supplies, like we're going to get things going. And I think that as far as like scrapbooking goes or other things, if you want to do that, set the time aside. Like for me, you guys know I love my planner. This is my Hemlock and Oak planner, and they have a really cool new one. I totally recommend it. But Set the time aside. Like, I will write in there. If I write it down, the chances of me getting it done are so much better. So, I love the idea. And so for the person who asked the question about um the photos, is set the time aside to deal with it. Put it on your calendar if you're the type of person that uses a calendar, and just like, if and, I'm not like a huge fan of like big weekend plans. I like to be like, I'm going to spend a couple of hours, but like, say I'm like on Saturday, I'm doing this, but I'm like, that's on the schedule. So I'm going to get that done. So that is what I say for that. And then somebody else asked a question. I can't remember who, but somebody asked about paper, and they said, how do we manage paper? Now, paper is, it can be a really big deal. Now, I can just tell you how I do it, and I have a binder where I have different sections. One section is for insurance, one section is for, like, important documents like birth certificates and marriage certificates, things like that. One is for, like, car purchases and ownership, things like that. And then every year I can go in and just my, take out the one from the year before or whatever, like the insurance from the year before. So that for me works really well. Just having that binder. And then, there's the odd thing where I'll have a folder. In the past, I've used folders for tax information. Now what I do is I basically just scan it, and I will use my phone. Like, there's apps on your phone. I use a phone. What's it called? It's called something scanner or 3D scanner. Scan. Turbo scan. And you can just do PDFs. And then I save things in folders on my computer. And I still, the digital stuff. And Dawn had actually recommended somebody when we were chatting, and I can't remember who it was, and I don't think I have it written here, but stay tuned for that. But somebody who is really good about digital stuff, but I will just create folders, and I will even number them, like, one, tax stuff, two, home ownership or whatever. And then what you do is you can just like save things directly to that. And sometimes, like, say you're on your computer and you want to go print, there's often an option where it says save as a PDF, and you can click save as a PDF. And then instead of printing, it will just create a folder or a file on your computer, and you can put it in whichever folder you want. Now, you do have to be disciplined about it. And I am not always disciplined about it. Like, I have to go through it, but I want to be honest with you. I just went through a bunch of tax stuff. I didn't even do my taxes, but just went through it. And I mean, some of it was business, but it took me over 3 hours. I'm still not quite done. Okay, let me see. Yes, 465. Ah, there we go. Let's see. How do I deal with my husband's cluster? He never puts his items away. I assume you mean clutter. The best thing to do is just to lead by example. And I know a lot of people hate this, but the thing is, so often people are very resistant to somebody trying to manage them and to like, just even tell them what to do. Like, they will often like really push back. So my favorite thing to do is just pick up after myself. And what's funny is, like, sometimes in my house, my husband will just sort of like, I'll be like, okay, everybody, let's pick up our stuff. And he'll like be like, oh, I don't have any stuff. And then I'll be like, well, you might have a couple things. And then he'll like realize he's got like his arms full of, it's usually clothes, but he'll have his arms full of stuff. And yeah. But I mean, sometimes I just say to my husband, like, can you make sure you pick up after yourself? Or yesterday we were brushing our teeth, and he has like a Sensodyne toothpaste for sensitive teeth, and he never puts the lid on the toothpaste. So as we're brushing our teeth, I just sort of like touched the cap, and I was like, and he was like, oh yeah. So, I mean, Lindsay's here. Check out her Instagram, or she might still be here, Loving with Intention. She has so many great tips about what to do. But number one, like, you always just want to, like, don't tell people what to do, lead by example. And you can always just say, like, And I think, like, the best thing is just to make sure that you're saying anything while you're getting along and you're in a good mood, and, people are so much more receptive, uh, during that time than if it's just sort of random and we're like, "Hey, you never pick up after yourself," or whatever, like, that's not helpful. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This one, our Erica actually asked, but Simone, thank you for sharing that. How to have a less busy schedule when you've built a busy life. It feels hard to limit the kids' interest because I want to be less busy. And I really like this question because for me, I don't like being super busy, and I've gone through seasons of my life where I was really busy, especially with my kids. And for a while, they did this swim club where they were swimming like almost every day. And like with between three kids, it was just like crazy trying to balance it all. And I did not enjoy it. But I think one of the best things is there's a lady named Ali Kazaza, and she has 4 kids, and she was homeschooling them. I'm not sure if she is right now. She sort of goes with the flow sometimes, and she says that, sometimes they're like, "This is not," and actually, this is another thing I chatted with, Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone about, that, like, sometimes we're like, "This is not the year where we're doing T-ball or kickball or whatever." Like, sometimes we can just take a break, and some kids, like, a lot of families, they just have one kid in one activity, and that kid gets to choose what that the activity is, and I think it's so interesting, like, when I was growing up, there weren't, like, a lot I don't think a lot of kids didn't quite have the amount of schedules that they do now, and I don't know if that's sort of, like, more disposable income or what, but it usually was, like, there was, like, one thing kids did, and it's so helpful to have. And actually, I have a friend, she had a daughter who did dance and gymnastics, which were both very involved, and they finally said to the kid, like, "You gotta pick one." Because there was never time for everybody to be home as a family, and I mean, that's important too, right? Like, exposure to activities is great and all, but family time is important too. I have a bike that I had since I was 7. My my daughter won't let me give it to my grandchildren because she's afraid they will break it. Oh, goodness. I'm just looking. This is good. I like this for how to organize paper. My folder is the year with subfolders under like utilities, payments, credit card statements, anything. Yeah, I think that's really good too. And that's how I have my taxes organized, is by the year. Very easy way of doing it. Deal with the paper with matches. Oh, she was saying to light stuff on fire. Very funny. Um, mm, mm, mm. I think that is a very good idea to burn the odd thing, cathartically, if it's like, papers to do with somebody. I think that's totally great. Therapy, yeah. I mean, that could be very, very symbolic. Da, da, da. All right. Any more questions people have? What else was I going to share? Oh, I will tell you quickly about what I have been doing. Okay, so doing a little bit of spring cleaning, and a lot of people were horrified by the whole mouse cleaning situation and hantavirus and whatever. And now I know, don't vacuum and wear N95 or whatever. So I will in the future. The good news is, I don't think there's much hantavirus on Vancouver Island. Apparently, there has been a little bit in the past, but I'm hoping there isn't any. A week later, I still feel okay, which is good. But I appreciate that. But yeah, so a little bit of spring cleaning is really good. For me right now, I'm doing a bit more spring cleaning in the garden. And I think that a lot of people, even if you just have like a deck or a little patio, great time to do it because you will have there's sort of like less weeds growing right now. It's easier to get on top of things. And I think that's really helpful. That's what we're doing. And then I have been seeding things. I see Hanta, Hanta. Um, I seeded some jalapenos. Okay, peppers take forever to germinate. So I'm actually going to seed some more today. I seeded a bunch of herbs a couple weeks ago. So I've got, and this is like indoors. If you did actually watch the one where I was like, I'm horrified, that I was showing briefly that area. And so I start things in there. I've got like grow lights set up, and I like to do like basil, and I have a freeze dryer coming. I am so darn excited because one of my favorite things is just to cook and use fresh herbs. So, the second best thing to fresh herbs definitely um would be freeze dried herbs. So, I'm excited about that. And yeah. So I've been starting those things, and then in a couple weeks I'm going to start tomatoes. So let me know if you garden, but now is a good time. Even if you don't garden, if you have any kind of outdoor space, now is a good time to deal with it. Even if you're in like a hot, drier climate, I think now is a good time. If it's even like a little bit more damp, it's even just easier to clean because things are a little moistened. Um, and I didn't see if that was like a question about the bicycle, but Simone is saying she's got a thought about the vintage bicycle. I think and that's the exact thing. Is like, if they break it, that's okay. If you're okay with that they got to use it. Exactly. Honor things by using them. I love it. I love it. Yeah, you could burn things in the fireplace for sure. Oh my gosh. Well, good afternoon, Donine. Hello. Do you guys, what's it? So you're in Saskatchewan, right? So I guess it would be 12:30 there. Yeah. Oh my gosh, who is excited about the time change? I am. I got to tell you. I have got to tell you guys. Um is that since I started vitamin D, and I'm not telling you dosage recommendations or anything like that, but this has been such a better winter for me. Usually I am like dying by the time change happens. And now I'm just like, nope. I am definitely just like um I'm looking forward to it for sure, but yeah, no time change here. We're waiting for US Congress here in Canada. Isn't that silly? Oh goodness. No time. Yeah, you guys. Um, my aloe vera plant died last freeze. Oh dear. Blackberries. Very good. Yeah, Jean, I think well, I'm slightly up the mountain where I live, so it's a little cooler here, but it's pretty good. About the old bike, is that a nice way for your daughter to say maybe your daughter doesn't want her kids to get hurt? That's a possibility too. Conversation is needed, plus the bike's tune up. Kim, we're all waiting for US Congress. I know. It's so funny because in BC, they were like, everybody feels like it's really important that we're on the same time zone as Washington and Oregon and California. And I'm like, I don't know why. Like, we're not on the same time zone as Alberta, and now we're not even on the same time zone as um Yukon, because they got rid of it too. Quebec and New York for the no time change. Now we wait. Very interesting. Wow. I don't know what is going to happen. I really want them to stick to the one we're switching to. I love daylight savings time so much. I just like how it's light out later in the day. Whatever. Oh, we're gonna make some freeze dried candy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been time changing myself 15 minutes every week for the past month. Hooray! I used to do that. I don't do it really now, but when my kids were little, I would do that when they were like, I don't know who Skeletor is, but when they were little, I did, because that was the problem. The time change always was so much the worst with the little ones. Oh gosh. The longer day. Yes, me too. Yeah. I mean, I like that, but with schools and everything and kids, when my kids are out of the house, it'll be easier. Yeah. That's just the thing is like people say I'd much rather have it light after work than light on my way to work. And a lot of people have said, well, like kids waiting for the bus and whatever. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's true, but I don't really know. Like, as far as like physical activity goes, people would be much more active if it was light out after work, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know what the Simply Clean workbook is, but I love your advice. I need help. What does that mean? Most accidents happen the day after daylight savings time. And um there's a lot more cardiac arrests because people get less sleep. It's very interesting. I like it laid out after work too. Then there's the odd person who's like, "Oh, I like it laid out in the morning." And then they're like, this one organization, that some sleep organization in the US, said that no, it's better for people that it's the other way. But I was like, "What does that even mean?" Like, we're literally just putting a name on what the time of day is. Like, it's just those of us who have to like have other people kind of determining when we're doing certain things that are like paying the price here. I don't know. I don't know. Ah, okay. Well, everybody, I am going to go. I have a meeting with the bank. Sounds so old fashioned. I feel like I'm like in Mary Poppins or something. But I hope you guys have a great day. I plan on doing another one of these in 2 weeks. I love our chats. Oh, the book from Clean Mama. What help do you need? I like that book. Oh, I like it. I like it. I don't know what kind of help you need though. Okay, I will wait for you. If ye it won't happen, Congress can't decide. I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's true. It is just the clocks. What percentage of people that have sad, I'm ready for more light for my grumpy husband? I suggest getting that vitamin D. I mean, I've been taking vitamin D and omega-3. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. Thank you. Great day. Everything. Okay. I can't help you with everything, but I will tell you, start small. Just pick one. Like, I'm gonna have to review that. We will chat about it in 2 weeks because I don't have it memorized. Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry, Sophie. We'll get to that next time. I'll look at that book.